Hey, what's going on, family? T Speak. So I put up a post and it spoke about a father not leaving your son. And we're going to talk about it because one of the brothers came and asked me, what happens if your wife just ups, leaves, and takes your son with her? Now, first I want to say I'm sorry that that happened, but I also want to say this. The key words you said was your son. No matter where that little boy is in the world, whether he goes to Greece, Africa, if he's in Australia, he is still your son. And with that being said, there's a mindset that you have to adapt. I'm not a victim. You can't take advantage of me, and you can't take anything from me. That's the mindset of a man, not a male. See, a male will go, oh man, she did this, I can't do anything. But I'm going to venture to say that I believe that you are a man. With that being said, my brother, if you know where she is, you go to her, you take your son. See, a lot of times, and I'll just break this down, a lot of times we as men, they say this saying, mommy's baby, daddy's maybe. So men are the ones, once they break up with a woman, there's pretty much an unspoken rule where the male, the children, will stay with the mother primarily, and the father will just come through with visits. Well, being a man says, I want my son equal, if not more, than you do, than you have him. I want my son more because, number one, that is my legacy. He has my name. Underneath the tree, there is him underneath that. See, here's the difference between a little boy and a little girl. When the little girl gets older, she will grow up, she will take her last name, she will get rid of her last name when she gets married and embrace her husband's last name. She comes underneath his tree to create children, and there starts the lineage of what he started through the vessel of his wife, your daughter. However, with the male child, your male child will have your name for the rest of his life. Every child that he has goes underneath your line. You're never going to lose him. You're never going to your name will never, it will always stand. This is why I think most men are so elated and so happy when they have a son. Because when they have a son, no matter what, your daughters are always going to be yours. Yes, true indeed. But when they have a son, he carries on your name. We're going to get into another video of what it means to have a name. What do you do to establish your name? Because you see, you have to give kids more than just your name. You have to give them all kinds of teaching, all kinds of understanding, and thereby a legacy and wealth. You see, children remember those that leave them something. You leave nothing to your child, they tend to forget by the second generation. But back to the topic. If you know where that woman is, going to get your son and saying, wait a minute, if you're in the same state that I'm in, I want my son these days, you take him these days if you want him. Or I like to do it week by week. I'll take my son this week, you have him that week. That way it's split because nobody wants to do 3 days on and 3 days off for every other day. But depending on what your schedule is, work it like that. If you have to take your schedule and go, okay, I have my son Monday and Tuesday, you have yours Tuesday and Wednesday, then I understand that. So take your week, give her week. That way you have your son equal time, because here's the thing. Whoever that child is around more, he will embrace their character, their responses. He'll embrace a whole bunch of things that you don't. Listen, a child that's raised mostly primarily by his mother, they grow up different. They grow up, from what I've seen, they grow up sometimes not having the right response to things, not standing up the way that they should because they do what mama did. Mama rolls her eyes or put her hands on her hip. A child might tend to do that. I'm not saying yours will. But there are cases when children will embrace the characteristics of the primary caregiver. Why don't you be the primary caregiver? See, because most people think, society, that a child's primary should go with their mother first before the father. Why is that? Because the father's going to still roll around and do the things that he's doing, but it doesn't have to be like that. You can absolutely take fatherhood so serious and say, you know what? I want my sons with me. I want them with me just as much, if not more, than their mother. When I literally, and I'm just transparent, when I divorced their mother, I put into the stipulation, into the divorce decree, you will have them 1 week, I will have them the other. You will have them the next, I will have them the other. You will not raise my sons, I will. You will not have more of a voice in their life, I will. You will not train them to be men because you can never do that, I will. I take manhood and fatherhood so serious because if I leave my sons to her, God forbid, I'm just going to leave it like that. And my brother, now, if you don't know where your son is, which I know there are some women who move vindictively, and they may have in fact done that. She may have in fact taken for whatever you've done. I'm not going to say that you haven't done anything, but whatever the reason that made her leave, being hurt, being, jealous of maybe what you have going on, whatever the reason is, she took your son and moved away. Okay. That's what I call an obstacle. That's a challenge. But that doesn't mean that you lose your son. See, because when you take the defeated mentality and you throw your hands down like there's nothing I can do, what you're really saying is, go get my son, enemy. Anybody that wants to pick my son off, to subvert anything that he's getting ready to do that's going to be positive, go at him. Let the enemy just go ahead and take him. Get involved with this. Get involved with that gang. Get involved with these drugs. Get involved with this drinking. Get involved with seeing things in your mother while you're with your mother that you shouldn't. Go ahead and do that. When you take that mentality that I can't do anything, what you do is open the floodgates to the enemy to come in and destroy your child's childhood, his outlook, and basically give him a foundation that's broken up. What you can do is take it and find out where she is. She has a social security number. He has a social security number. She works somewhere. Listen, there's information as family. There is basically, you can get a private investigator to find out where she is. You can look at the IRS. You can absolutely start a court case. If you know what state she's in, start a court case and go, listen, I want to sue her for visitation rights with my son. You moved away? Didn't tell you to. I still want my son every other week. You bring him, I'll bring him back. Or either I come and get him and you come and get him. You come and get him back. Do not go for that. It may be a financial obligation for you, but that's what fatherhood is. Financial, emotional, spiritual, like everything that you can imagine is going to be on the weight of your shoulders. When you became a father, you took all that on. You embraced all of that. And if you didn't, you should have, because that's what it takes being a father. And get this, I didn't write the book on it. I'm still walking this thing out. I tell my sons every so often, forgive me if I'm not doing everything right. I've never done this before. Just like I've never been a father to boys before, you've never been sons to a father before. So let's learn together. Transparency. Kids need to see this. They need to hear this. They need to know Daddy's working it out, but he has me in mind. Daddy wouldn't leave me because my brother. When you have decided, if you decide, and I pray that you don't, to leave your son, you don't know what thoughts will conjure up in your son's mind. My daddy left me. My dad didn't want me. Now your son may go out there and look for a father figure, and it could be a predator. It could be somebody posing as a father and only wants to get next to your son to do whatever he wants to do. You don't know what it is. The best gatekeeper for your son in his life is you, because that is you. Your son is you. He has your DNA. You made him a male. Your DNA made your son a male. His mother didn't do that. And regardless of how much women go, oh, that's my son, that's my son. Nah, actually, that's my son. That's my son. If it was your daughter, you might get away with saying that's my daughter. And I'd be like, okay, that's your daughter, but that's my daughter too. But as far as a male son, one that's going to grow up big and strong and be capable of doing great exploits, one that God will hopefully use, one that will be able to change life in the world, you want to. Yes, so you can find out where your son is. I'm going to implore you to do that. And if you don't listen, you can Google, how do I find a person? Find out where his mother took him and fight for your rights, because women, they don't understand. You try to get at me by taking my son and my child, you're really hurting yourself, because what my child may turn into and what he may come up against and not be ready for without me, you're not ready for that. And women somehow get so emotional, they'll destroy a child just to get back at the father. But it doesn't get back at the father only if the father's connected, but it hurts the child that much more. Because when we are old and gray, when we sitting back looking at what we've done with our lives, we want to look over at our sons and we want to say, you know what? I did good by that boy. I did good by him. Look at him. He's a man. He is not just a male. He is a man. So, if your wife took your child, go find him. She only took him temporarily. She's only going to have him to herself as long as you allow it. The moment you decide to go, no, I'm going to spend whatever I have to spend, take whatever time I have to take in order to get my son, you'll have him. Because legally, you have just as much right as she does. T speaks.